The first question that we're getting, this is really diverse, but I think it has a very pertinent point of view. Quote, in light of the 25 deaths in farm-related accidents, what role would you take in ensuring farm safety?
Well, I can't ensure it, but I can assure you that our leader, Rachel Nobbert, who comes from Fairview and was raised in Fairview, is in touch with the agricultural community. But this issue touches me more deeply than most. My late brother-in-law died in a farm accident, leaving my sister with 3 young children, which she successfully raised on her own. What we have to understand is that safety on the workplace, and tomorrow, or the next day, my memory fades on that point, we're going to celebrate the lives of people who died on the work site. We're going to celebrate, and I use that word very deliberately, because they were producing wonderful people who had jobs, who had families, and who were taken away from us, sometimes because our safety regulations were lax. Well, how do you remedy that? You need to hire people who are going around, and still within our oil and energy gas sector, we're losing too many people and too many job days, and ultimately too many lives, unfortunately, due to workplaces that need to be more properly regulated through the addition of inspectors who are there. We need to hire more people, not less, in this area, and until we do, the accident rate will continue to grow.
Thank you, Mark. We never want to see deaths in any, whether it's on the farms or in our oil and gas sector or any jobs, and I think that's something that always hits home for all of us, and probably many people have experienced that. I've had other families that I know of where there have been deaths on the farms and in the oil and gas sector as well. So I think it's something that every government wants to make sure is minimized. We have lots of inspectors. Is there need for more? We need to make sure that happens. I think that's something that we need to look at. I'm not specifically aware of how many inspectors we have going out to agricultural farms at this time, but I think certainly if there's a need for that, if there's an increase of deaths, which I do not believe there is, I think that's something that we need to make sure that we do have proper inspectors, as Mark has suggested. I think we have that. I just don't know what the numbers are off the top of my head. Thank you.
Well, Mark, I happen to know how many inspectors we have in agriculture. It's 0. Because this province has excluded the people that feed us from occupational health and safety standards. It excluded them from any workers' compensation after they get injured or killed. And they've excluded farm workers from labor code standards. This is the most backward province in the country on farm workers. We're saying that 25 people, including 4 to 5 children, died last year because of a failure of this government to deal with the politically sensitive issue of forcing agricultural operations, many of them large industrial operations that shouldn't be allowed to be taking advantage of workers this way. But because it's a political hot potato, this government for 60 years has legislated against the forming of unions, legislated against occupational health and safety deliberately in the workplace, and legislated against mandatory workers' compensation. The very places that feed us. Again, this government doesn't have the backbone to go up against political interests.
There's no doubt that the agricultural industry and the folks that work in the agricultural industry are the lifeblood to our food sources and our economy. The Wellness Party certainly believes that we need to protect all Albertans, including those who work in the rural industries as well as on the farms. One of the things that we certainly want to do is to overcome all the neglect that has been put in place by the PC Party by looking at the regulations and legislations that are in place today and ensure that they are there to protect the workers.
Thank you. These are 2 questions, but for basically the same theme. What role do you see the provincial government taking in the provision of affordable housing?
Affordable housing. I had the opportunity to speak to a senior citizens group who were living in a home together, totally ambulatory, able to get out, work together, have fun together, protective of each other. I think, and certainly it is the policy of the Democratic Party, to look to establish that kind of funding for more of those centers as our population continues to age. We need to aid the development of that kind of place for our seniors to comfortably and assuredly go forth with their lives in a place that's comfortable to them. Not in quiet nursing homes, all sitting in rooms by themselves for those who can do that, but integrated within the community, as there is very often in Europe. Similar places such as that exist. More and more, we know the benefit of keeping people together, helping each other. It helps them stay healthy, it helps them stay involved, and Rachel Notley and the Democrats are committed to providing financial support to companies and yes, even private developers who want to go and work in that area and establish that kind of a residence. Our senior population is booming, and we need to be able to protect them and take care of them.
Provincial government is coming out and has already started building 2,600 new seniors housing units across the province. Many of them are obviously going to be here in Calgary because we have a large seniors population. Actually, Calgary Mountain View has the largest seniors population of any riding in the province, and we want to make sure that they're taken good, well, really good care of. The Wayne Key organization is one specifically. What they're doing is a fantastic job with their seniors, as some of the seniors that have been coming into the organization are on walkers and canes, and they are now moving them away, and even as the seniors age people, away from those because of the health and the organization, the proactive what they're doing inside the organization. It's really fantastic to see. As well as the centers that we had built at the Bow Valley Lodges. They are doing a fantastic job for our seniors as well. They are very good central organizations that allow for interaction, people doing and growing and staying very positive and proactive and involved with others in their community. So it's a really great, they're very good models. Silvera works very hard for us, as well as many other private sector organizations, in making sure that that they're taking care of in affordable housing as we go forward. We will see more thousands of those built over the next couple of years as well.
Many people will not be surprised that we've had an 800% increase in homelessness in this province in the last 20 years. It's partly the draw that Alberta has been for new jobs, and it's partly the result of some success, you could say, in our industry. It's unfortunately that it's so volatile, and we haven't had a government that's actually planned well and invested in affordable housing. Since the cities are still creatures of the province, and they take their orders from the province, it's important to say where the primary responsibility lies. It's in the province. If the province doesn't have a provincial plan for affordable housing, the municipal governments are constrained. They neither have the money nor the ability to put in place some of the restrictive legislation that comes from the province under the Municipal Government Act. For example, if a city decided to have inclusionary zoning, they would have to get the province to change the Municipal Government Act to ensure that 10% of the housing in that area has to be affordable. That is well below market levels. That's a provincial law, and it still hasn't been passed, it still hasn't been transferred to the municipal government. It's a federal, provincial, municipal responsibility, though. All three levels of government have to share the funding for affordable housing. One of the major issues my office deals with is people who can't get housing. Mothers on the street with kids, going in from the cold, a different church every night. It's embarrassing, it's shameful, it's unacceptable, our lack of affordable housing in this province.
Dr. Swan is 100% correct. A lot of the issues we have with homelessness right now is the fact that we do not have a cohesive, coordinated affordable housing program from the province. A lot of the money that the city government gets, for example, for managing Calgary housing is money that comes from grants from the federal government, provincial government, and the municipal government. But at the end of the day, when it comes to actually implementing the management of that program, the city government is left on its own to be able to take care of that housing situation. The second thing that the city government is struggling with, and a lot of other jurisdictions across the province is struggling with, is how to deal with affordable housing in terms of allowing secondary suites. We need the province to come up with better building codes, building standards codes, to allow the development of affordable secondary suite programs.
To break up the monotony, we'll change the reverse order of speaking.
Who said it was monotonous? I like it the way it is.
You like the way it is? We'll change it up a little bit and rough it up here. Quote, the province has not funded much needed community resilient projects, i.e. upgrades to the Sunnyside storm sewer system. How quickly will you act and what will you do to ensure that more funding is directed towards community projects for flood mitigation? Gary?
One of the things that the Rose Party is attempting to do or propose to do is to change the funding model for municipal governments. This is what we call the Municipal 10-10 program, where 10% of the revenues of the province will flow through to the municipalities, and 10% of all surpluses that is generated will also flow through the city. Now, having that in place will give the city a lot more capacity, a lot more authority to actually make the changes that they need to do. The second thing that we also support is the city charter to allow the cities to have much more, discretion as to where they want to spend their money without having to be bound by municipal affairs or the provinces what they want to do. One of the things that the Rose Party will not do, though, is to tell municipalities exactly where to spend their money, how to spend their money. It's a local decision. It's a decision that city council should be able to make in the areas of priorities that they need, especially in the cases of again, when we talk about the stormwater system in the Sunset. Thank you.
Well, it's clear then that the Wild Rose Party is going to perpetuate the unstable funding that municipalities are dealing with. Obviously, the 10-10, it depends on surplus. What we want is a stable, sustainable, dependable budget for municipalities so they can plan and not react every year to what the budget's going to be, because it's going to change every year based on the surplus or no surplus as we see this year. We need a stable revenue base that's based on tax, based on royalties, based on fees and levies, including a carbon levy, and industrial linear tax base shared with the rural areas, to provide a stable base of funding. The Municipal Sustainability Initiative program, started by the province 10 years ago, was supposed to deliver predictable, sustainable $1 billion every year to shared across the province. They've only paid out 60% of that budget because they came to other priorities. And the municipalities are fed up with the unstable, unpredictable funding that they're getting, leaving many planning operations and many investments in the lurch. So,